G'day everybody, welcome back to the CEO blog for another week. They tell me, JD, that one did a pretty good job last week.
Yeah, David did. I had a couple of emails, when's the ball bloke coming back, but David will be for during the Miracle Mile Carnival. He'll be making appearances because you're leaving.
Yes.
Now that's very disappointing. Many people have said that this segment with you, not saying Amanda wasn't that good, she was great, but you've added something to it, Wano's added something to it, and now you're departing ship. Now, I'm going to turn this around. Why are you leaving harness racing in New South Wales?
The opportunity to call Hong Kong came calling, and as much as I'm going to miss doing the Sky 1 and 2 midnight shifts, the opportunity to call Hong Kong was just a little bit too much, so I'm off over there.
Well, I've got to say, everyone's prediction was that you had to call races. Your race calling is superb, as good as anywhere in the world as far as I'm concerned, so well done, son.
Thanks, JD.
Yep. Cheers. Back to the blog.
Yeah, I'll be around a couple more weeks yet. Good thing for Wano that Kerry Packer's not still in charge. He didn't like Paul on television. Golden Guitar. Clayton Harmey and Lee Sutton had a big night.
A real big night. They not only won the Golden Guitar with Wet My Whistle for the McAuliffe family, they also, or Lee did, also won the Cup. So a great night's racing up there. The weather wasn't that good. It was intimidating at some stages, but the club put on a good meeting, as they always do.
There was dust storms earlier in the day, and I know there was a few participants on the way up thinking, will we even race?
Well, I actually pulled up in the dust storm, and you just couldn't see. It was Armageddon all over again. The Western Districts and Northwest have been experiencing these for about 3 months. So we'll pull through summer, and hopefully the drought will end, the fires will be all put out, and we'll continue on.
What's the latest on rain around the state? There's been a bit through Sydney with some storms and a couple of wet days. How far did that extend for the participants?
A very hit and miss, but substantial falls. When I say hit and miss, I can talk about where I come from. Parks might receive 30, 50, 60 mils. 20 miles south to Forbes or north to Peak Hill, no rain, and that's how it is. It's very hit and miss.
We move from the Golden Guitar at Tamworth to the Leeton Breeders' Place.
Yeah, great race again. It's always a great race. The babies are what we, as breeders, we like seeing them come through. But a great race. Damien Wilson won again. David Farrer from Victoria won again. And the Q Legend was the winner. And it's interesting. The owner unfortunately passed away. He bought this horse for $38,500 at the APG Melbourne sale last year. He said, "This will be my champion." Unfortunately, Mr. Carr passed away. But our condolences to his family. But it's a nice horse.
Absolutely. Gee, they had a good crowd looking at the pictures coming in from that unique track that it is.
It is unique, and it just shows what the smaller clubs can do and do year in, year out with these facilities. Junee, a bit like Temora, 5 meetings a year, but they put so much into it. Trevor Allenby's the president there. Joe Judd, Cherry Judd, the entire committee put it all in, but it was a big night for Blake McAuliffe, a treble, won by protest, but in the city drivers he certainly stamped where he's going to be. He came through the rising stars. It's good to see that given opportunities, these young drivers improve, and he's up there. He's got an A-grade licence now, so he'll be really fighting on.
Comes from a good racing family.
Oh, strong background. Xavier, his grandfather, wonderful man. David, of course, and Rachel, really good. His uncle Ian, he was a farrier and a good horseman as well. So, all round, all good.
Anthony Butt, we're claiming him as a New South Welshman now.
Yeah, Australia Day was the 26th, and I believe he may have gone and down and committed himself to Australian. But it's good that he's over here. He's a Kiwi. We will still acknowledge that. But he's moved into the Menangle Park Training Centre, and he's driven more Group 1 winners than any other Australasian driver on record. He just added to that with Dr. Susan for Cran Dalgety and the Victorian Oaks. And then for Emilio and Mary Rosati, he trained and drove Line Up to win it, Not only that, he trained the third horse as well. So Anthony Butt, you're now Australian. Tim Butt, you're definitely Australian as well, because you're training out of the Menangle Park Training Centre.
Right, that's all you need to do.
That's all you need to do.
No worries about nationality, citizenship, just move into Menangle and you're an Aussie.
Yeah, no, there's no question here to fill in. You don't have to answer those mundane questions when it comes to our code harness racing. We'll take you in.
Rightio. APG sale in Brisbane, they're underway. The APGs in Brisbane kicked off last weekend.
And New South Wales buyers were there. Jenny Turnbull, Bernie Hewitt, Wayne Loader. A very strong sale. Only 40 odd lots offered, but a strong sale, and it looks well going forward. The Melbourne sales this weekend, and then of course when the Miracle Mile on the Sydney sale is, and that's a superb catalogue. Great sale last year, and there's every indicator it should be as good this year.
And an amazing venue.
Oh, absolutely, out at Inglis here at Warwick Farm. Of course, I'm not trying to talk it down, but the drought will have an impact. But this drought will end, and it's about going forward from there.
We move from that to a legend hangs up the binoculars on Friday.
Yeah, Alan Hull, the voice of the Riverina, and what a fine voice. We talked about what an outstanding race caller you are, and I'm not saying that because you're sitting next to me, but Alan Hull, he just had that rhythm, that song to his voice, and it's not great to see him retire, but he's done his time as he's selected to do his time, and he'll do Albury Trots on Friday night, last calls.
So great man, and it's not going to be the same. That voice of Alan's has been at the Riverina seemingly forever. Forever.
Did you know he sings in a choir and leads the choir? Very superb voice. He's really, as I said, his song is his race calling, but he's a good singer as well.
There you go, I didn't know that one. Ross Higgins is the new board member. He's come a long way from Kingswood Country.
Yeah, well, it's not Kingswood Country, Ross. Ross is a solicitor from well known in the industry from Lithgow. He's a breeder and he's an owner. Always been a strong contributor. So he has a 3-year term starting from next week. Ken Brown, of course, who was already on the board, he's a 4-year term commencing next week. So it's a review. New board to a certain extent, but it's onward and upwards.
And finally, the ratings review meeting on Friday. What are you guys taking to the table?
Well, handicapping and programming is essential to this sport. Yes, we've got prize money and it's very good in New South Wales, but it is making sure that we can deliver to our participants what they require. Now, what Harness Racing New South Wales is taking to the review team meeting on Friday is very strongly. Currently, 3-year-olds are first ranked at 50 points. We're taking, it should be 45, and that's from feedback from the industry. 2-year-olds are 40 points as it stands. We're taking it, they should commence at 35. That's the feedback we got. It makes sense, so that's what we'll be taking there. And also, taking a point for running second is not being accepted too well, so we'll be taking to the rating and review team. If the prize money for running second is $2,000 or less, there is no point. So we will take that strongly to the rating and review team. We'll put the argument as requested by our participants, and hopefully we'll come out the other side with the majority, the following, because we do want this to be a national rating system.
How long does it take for those hearings to take place? If those adjusted points are accepted, will that be done on the weekend, or is it discussed going forward? How long does it take to come back with an answer?
Well, what happens there is the meeting's Friday. Whatever comes out of that meeting will be a recommendation to the executive of Harness Racing Australia. They meet in mid-February. They should endorse what comes out of that racing review team forum, and I would think that the introduction would be fairly seamlessly thereafter.
John, another busy week. Find out what happens out of that meeting this time next week, I'm sure.
Sure we will.
If you'd like to co-host the blog, just send JD a 15-20 second clip of yourself having a go and you might get the gig.
Yep, but you'll be back for 2 more weeks.
I'll be back for a couple more weeks, yeah.